Tough to imagine a better way to celebrate Dakota Days than with your first ever Missouri Valley Football Conference victory. How's everybody doing? I'm Jay Elsen, and this is Coyote Quarter. Well, USD is traditionally tough on D-Days. In fact, the Coyotes have won almost 70% of their homecoming contests all time, including 3 of the last 4 coming into Saturday's showdown with Missouri State. And given what happened last year between these two teams, there was sure to be a little extra motivation. Let's take a look back at the highlights. A crowd of nearly 10,000 on hand at the Dakota Dome on Saturday. First career start for sophomore quarterback Kevin Earl, who replaced Josh Vandermotten under center. And things were looking good on the Coyotes' opening possession, that is, until this. Earl's pass picked off at the goal line by Christian Hoffman, and USD comes up empty. Fortunately, the defense was there to pick up their quarterback. Ensuing Bears possession, Kiara Harris looking for Dorian Buford. The ball somehow ends up in the hands of Kyle Guziak, and he's headed to the house. 22-yard interception return for the touchdown. Extra point was blocked, but the Yotes lead 6-0. And the USD defense was just getting started. Later in the first, Bears on the move, but not for long. Tyler Starr brings down Harris. 5th sack of the year for Starr. Forces Missouri State to punt it away. Starr back at it in the second. Dropped Harris for a second time. 6th sack of the year, 24th for his career. Kyle surrendered just 76 yards of total offense in the first half and led 6-0 at the break. Missouri State can play a little defense as well, though, and they come up with a big play here. Martin Montgomery hits Earl from behind. The ball comes out. Nick Canavan recovers it for the Bears at the Coyotes' 8-yard line. 3 plays later, Harris calls his own number on the QB keeper. 7th rushing touchdown of the year for him, and Missouri State takes a 7-6 lead. They'd add to that advantage a few minutes later. Miles Bergner back to punt. And the long snapping struggles continue. Bergner's kick is blocked. Vernon Scott recovers and scores. 2nd straight week that a bad snap has led to a touchdown for the opponent, and the Coyotes trail 14-6. But USD wasn't done. The defense comes up with another huge play late in the third. Phoenix Johnson's extra effort comes back to hurt him. Devin Taverna knocks the ball loose. Colin Buscarini recovers, and the Yotes take over at the MSU 44. And this time, the offense would cash in on the opportunity. First play of the 4th quarter, Earl sets up the screen for Bama, and the redshirt freshman does the rest. 18 yards for his first career touchdown, and USD is back within a pair. Coyotes elect to go for 2 in the tie, and after drawing a pass interference on their first attempt, Earl avoids the sack, throws a strike to Riley Donovan. And just like that, we're tied at 14. Huge play coming up with under 5 minutes to play. Bears trying to set up a screen. Harris gets drilled by Starr as he lets it go. Flags fly. Holding called against the Bears, while Starr gets called for a blow to the head. Take another look at it here. You be the judge. Starr disqualified for targeting. Harris left the game as well, leaving Ashton Glazer to take over at quarterback. After a couple of shots downfield, the Bears had to punt it from deep in their own end, and that gave the Coyotes great field position, and they would make the most of it. USD moves into field goal range for Bergner, and the freshman who missed from 31 just a few minutes earlier connects in a career-long 41-yarder to put the Coyotes back in front, 17-14. One last chance for Missouri State, but the USD defense wasn't about to let this one get away. The Bears can't do anything with it, and the Coyotes hold on for their first ever Missouri Valley Football Conference victory. 17-14 is your final. 3rd D-Days win in the last 4 years, and the first for head coach Joe Glenn. The defense deserves a lot of the credit. The Coyotes hold Missouri State to just 177 yards of total offense, 72 through the air. Tyler Starr finished with team-high 8 tackles, 3 of them for loss, including those 2 sacks. Offensively, there was definite signs of improvement. Kevin Earl solid in his first start, finishing 22 of 35 for 159 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Trevor Bama had a nice day as well. He racks up 59 yards on 12 carries, also caught 6 balls for 56 yards and that touchdown.
The emotions are overwhelming, but I mean, the whole time we were confident in ourselves. We knew we could play with any team in this conference. So it was just, some little things that were keeping us from getting wins, but it was good to put things together and come away victorious on this one.
We've had it many times trying to get to that Missouri Valley win, and then finally to do it on Dakota Days when all our fans are here. It was just a great opportunity for us, and we achieved it.
This year, and from what we've done so far, and especially after a win like this, it means a lot. Winning our first game and then losing, 3 straight on the road. We still have that monkey in our back of getting a road win, but definitely coming home and winning is going to really propel us for the rest of the year.
At the end of the day, everybody knows that, it's 1, but we need to lead to 2. Schedule only going to get tougher here. We got Indiana State next week, I think, and they put a beating on us last year, and I think we're going to have to be prepared. So, got to figure out how we're going to win this next one.
All right, the celebration continued on Sunday for the Coyotes as freshman kicker punter Miles Bergner was named Missouri Valley Football Conference Special Teams Player of the Week for the second time this season. In addition to kicking the game-winning 41-yard field goal for the Yotes on Saturday, Bergner also recorded 3 touchbacks in 4 kickoffs and averaged 43 yards on 6 punts, including a long of 51.
Well, it all starts with the guys in front of me. I mean, they're protecting me, and it's greatly appreciated because I get to do that. I get to do the fun stuff and score the points, but they're the real guys doing the work, and especially Ryan Sager catching the ball and putting it down both times. It's just a great feeling, but it all starts with everybody around me.
And welcome back. Now that we've seen how things have played out, it's time to dig a little deeper into that win over Missouri State. For that, we bring in Midco SN analyst Andre Fields to talk about Saturday's storylines. And the big story coming into this game for the Coyotes, Andre, was the change at quarterback. Kevin Earl gets his first career start in place of Josh Vandermotten, who moved to wide receiver for this one. Earl's final numbers, respectable, 22 of 35, 159 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Here's what he had to say about his performance.
It was a big wave of emotions. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous, but it just felt good to be able to come out and play again and make plays in front of this crowd and get a win for the Coyotes.
All right, so the Coyotes go into this change looking for a spark offensively. At times, it appeared that 14 gave them that.
Yeah, he did give them that. 63% passing. And by doing that, you basically opened up the running lanes, and we saw late in the game that they had a really good balance offensively.
And they made it easy on him, too. They weren't asking him to do a lot of difficult throws. We saw a lot of screens, a lot of dump-offs, things like that. They wanted to build some confidence, it appeared.
Yeah, and I think that's what they did. A lot of screens early, short slant routes, 5 yards, 10 yards down the field. Nothing too deep, and he was able to control the ball that way, not put it in harm's way, and again, build some confidence.
Bottom line, it turned out to be a good first start for Kevin Earl. All right, meanwhile, the USD defense continued to impress. The Coyotes held the Bears to 177 yards of total offense, 105 on the ground, 72 through the air. Needless to say, defensive coordinator Jason Petrino was very pleased with that effort.
They just kept battling even when things got down. We tried to stay together, stay up, and create our own momentum. And so it was big that our guys were able to respond to some adversity and just keep battling.
All right, obviously, Coach Petrino very pleased with that. Andre, on this show, we've talked about it all season long. They just keep getting better and better, and maybe the best example yet came on Saturday.
Yeah, and they are the crowning jewel for USD football right now. I mean, only giving up 72 yards passing. They're one of the best pass defense teams in the nation, and they continue to answer the call despite what else is going on with special teams and offense. They come out and answer the call.
They actually were averaging just 119 yards given up through the air coming into that game. Hard to believe they improved upon that, allowing just 72 to Missouri State on Saturday. Certainly a big sign of encouragement moving forward for this Coyote football team. Tyler Starr, a big part of that defensive effort on Saturday, but his day came to a bit of a premature end. With under 5 minutes to play, Starr was disqualified for this hit on Missouri State quarterback Kiera Harris. You and I agree that the flag was justified, Andre, but the question for some is whether or not it fits the description of targeting. What's your thoughts?
Well, that's what makes the rule so confusing, because if it's targeting, he did not target him in the head. But was it a personal foul? Yes, I do believe so, because he launched himself, as you can see. He does have his head down, but he hits the quarterback in the chest. So was it targeting? I'm not sure, but that's why the rule is so confusing. We don't know exactly where that line's drawn.
And as it stands, pending an appeal, the Coyotes may have to play Indiana State, at least the first half, without Tyler Starr. That's part of the penalty for that disqualification. So keep your eyes on that as the week goes forward. All right, one thing Joe Glen has said all season, Andre, was that his team had to learn how to feed off of one another, how to carry momentum. Well, they did that on Saturday. Best example came late in the third quarter as the defense forced a turnover and the offense turned it into the game-tying score.
Yeah, and not only were they able to seize momentum, they actually were able to continue momentum even when things went wrong. There were a few plays that happened that went against the Coyotes, whether it be a penalty or a bad play. They didn't let it rattle them. They actually rallied off of that.
All right, that's our take on Saturday's game. And when we come back, the head coach will give us his. Joe Glen joins us next. And welcome back to Coyote Quarter. Jay Elsen, joined now by head coach of USD, Joe Glen. And Joe, coming off a D-Days victory, and I know that feels good. 17-14 was the final over Missouri State. This one was much needed, to say the least.
Oh, yeah. Since I've been here, it's our first win in Missouri Valley Football Conference play. It's been a long time coming, but the kids fought hard. I thought the crowd, the students, the Dakota Day homecoming game was what it's supposed to be. I think everybody willed and cheered the team on to victory, and it probably not real significant in the grand scheme of things, but for our program and our fans and the people here in the Dome, it was a big-time moment for us.
Absolutely. Got to start somewhere. Let's talk about the week that led up to the game. And there was some question as to who was going to get the call at quarterback, and you made the decision to change from Josh Vandermotten to Kevin Earl. His first career start, kept it kind of close to the vest to try and take advantage of that as the week you didn't let a lot of word about that slip out. But just talk about what went into that decision, why the move, and going to Kevin, giving him a shot.
Well, sometimes you need change just for the sake of change. Josh hadn't played all that poorly, but we had dropped some balls. We had not maybe given him the time to throw, all the above. And Kevin did come in and engineer a touchdown at Western Illinois. And we just thought based on that we'd give Kevin a shot. He had never really had a shot with a chance to be the quarterback. And with that in mind, we pretty much knew all week long if Kevin practiced fairly well, he would be the starter. But in the meantime, we started moving Josh into some receiving positions, and he can help this team a lot. So it's just a chance to change at quarterback, and now it's a chance for Josh to maybe get on the perimeter and help this team in some other ways that he still can.
Well, Kevin gets in there, first drive of the game, moves him right down the field. Things are looking really good. You had the running game working, which had lacked the last couple of weeks, but get down inside the 5, and he throws a pass. I don't think he ever saw the linebacker, gets picked off at the goal line.
Yeah, it was a slant play, and he did not see the linebacker and fired it in there, and the linebacker jumped right in the way, and those things happen. But it still, nevertheless, it was a good drive. I think it gave our kids confidence, but from that point on, we started making penalties where we could not get out of the shadows of our goalposts again, and we kind of reverted to the old Coyotes, if you will.
Well, the good news is that the defense was there to pick up its quarterback, and after stuffing him on first and second down on the ensuing possession, Kyle Guziak comes up with a crazy interception, ends up taking it back for a touchdown, getting you guys on the board.
He was Johnny on the spot, no doubt, and when you're running to the football or running to the tackle or running to the reception, if you just keep hustling and get close, sometimes good things happen to you. And we talked about that this week, and a great hustle play by Kyle Guziak.
You go to the half up 6-0, and it stays that way into the third. Couple of frustrating minutes for you here, though, as their defense comes up, makes a play, hits Kevin from behind, he fumbles it. They get great field position, score a touchdown. And then on the ensuing possession, another snap issue on a punt, ends up getting it blocked. They return that for a touchdown. They put 14 points on you in just a couple of minutes.
Well, those are mistakes that we've been making that we've got to get fixed up. We had a left tackle that didn't get his man blocked, and then we went to punt, and our deep snapper didn't get the ball to the punter. These are things we can work on, we can get better at. They're both capable guys. hopefully we'll get it fixed before Saturday.
All right, well then the defense comes up again late. Devin punches the ball out, Colin Buscarini recovers, and the offense this time, as you mentioned last week, we need to find a way to build off of one another, and they do it this time. Get in for the touchdown, Trevor Bama on the middle screen. Guys used that play a lot on Saturday, 18 yards for his first career touchdown. Then Riley Donovan gets another true freshman, gets the catch on the 2-point conversion. We're tied at 14. Then some controversy on the next possession from Missouri State. Tyler Starr coming in, making a play, running hard, makes contact with Kiera Harris in the head area, and he end up getting disqualified for this game for what's called targeting. What's your interpretation of this play?
Well, it's you got to look at it. It's not a helmet-to-helmet play as I see it. I mean, he leads with his hands. His helmet actually, I think, strikes the quarterback in this area right here. But then as he goes through him, he does get to the helmet. But I don't think it's a helmet-to-helmet shot.
It turned out to be a significant play because Kiera Harris has to go out of the game, unfortunately for them. The defense stands tough, forces them to punt out of their own end zone. They don't make good connection. You guys get great field position and then move it into position for Miles Bergner to come through, the freshman, and for the second time this year, kick a game-winning field goal at home.
Right. How funny things happen. Earlier in the game, when we scored our first touchdown, our holder dropped the ball, and he kicked it, and it looked like it was a bad kick, but the holder just flat dropped the ball, and Miles had to kick it. But I told our holder, hey, man, come on. You can catch it. You can put it down. You're going to have to do it again in this game. And then Miles missed, a chip shot field goal, and everybody's saying, come on, Miles, you got to hit one for us, and don't get down on yourself. And darn if on the last play, Ryan Sager makes a great save on a high snap from Cody O'Neill and gets the ball down, and Miles makes a terrific 41-yard field goal.
17-14, the final. The Coyotes get off the schneid. They get that first ever Missouri Valley Conference win. Thanks to you, Joe. And we'll be talking to you again next week on the show. Stay tuned. When we come back and preview the Indiana State matchup that's coming up this week with the voice of the Sycamores.
And welcome back. Well, the Coyotes don't have a lot of time to savor their win over Missouri State because they've got another tough test coming up this weekend against Indiana State. And for more on them, we bring in the voice of the Sycamores, Brian Fritz. And Brian, let's start with the head coach. Mike Sanford is in his first year at Indiana State after replacing Trent Miles. What's that transition been like?
It's a transition that has been, I think, pretty smooth all in all. Coach Miles had an opportunity to take over a program at Georgia State that was in a similar situation to what Indiana State was in prior to him taking over the position here. And I think as coaching changes go, it's gone smoothly. Coach Sanford is an offensive-minded guy. We will definitely throw it around quite a bit and, very innovative on that side of the football.
Sanford and the Sycamores off to a 1-4 start, but 3 of those losses have come against FBS programs. The win came against an NAI team, and all of that, have you managed to gauge where this team is at?
Well, right now we're banged up, to be honest with you. We've lost a starting safety before the year started, our best cover corner in our third game. We lost our tight end in our second game. Shakir Bell missed some time earlier in the season. We've been playing with a lot of young players, particularly on defense. And, as you would expect, there have been some growing pains. Plus, we've played a lot of good football teams at this point in the year. Youngstown State was a very good team a week ago. And, as you well know, this conference is full of them.
You mentioned All-American running back Shakir Bell is one of the guys that's been dinged up. What's his status coming into the weekend?
Well, he left the ball game either late in the first quarter or early in the second quarter. Looked to be favoring a foot. Has not gotten any update on him since the ball game last Saturday. I know he'll be reevaluated throughout the course of the week. And, I would anticipate him probably being a game-time decision on Saturday.
If he can't go, how does that change things for Indiana State?
Well, clearly part of it was being behind last week, but, when Shakir's not there, clearly we're going to throw the football a little bit more because, Buck Logan and Lamont Booker have done a nice job at the running back position, but they're just not in Shakir Bell's class. So if he's unable to go, then that means that our best playmakers would be our wide receivers. And, we would probably throw the ball 10 to 15 more times than we otherwise might.
And finally, what do you think the Sycamores have to do to be successful in Vermilion?
Well, I'll tell you, something we've struggled with this year is we've moved the football really well, but we haven't been good the last couple of weeks when we've had scoring opportunities in the red zone. We've got to do a better job of finishing off drives with touchdowns. Also, the last couple of weeks, we've turned it over too many times. Those are two things that the Sycamores are capable of controlling that has really hurt them the last 2 weeks in two pretty close ball games, where if they had won the turnover battle or done a better job of finishing off drives, could very well have won both of those ball games. So those would really be the two areas where I would start for Indiana State in terms of what they need to do to have success.
That again is Brian Fritz from the Sycamores Radio Network. Well, stay tuned. Joe Glenn will be back to give us his thoughts on Saturday's showdown with Indiana State right after this. Well, as we heard before the break, the status of Indiana State running back Shakir Bell appears questionable for Saturday due to a foot injury. But with that said, Joe Glenn says his team will prepare as if he's going to play because, frankly, they can't afford not to.
Half the time, the whole stands couldn't tackle this guy. He is the most prolific back in our league by far. He is a freak of strength. He's 180 pounds, maybe 5'9", 5'10", but he can carry the team on his back.
Now, whether Bell goes or not, the Coyotes are going to try and make it 2 straight in the Valley against Indiana State on Saturday afternoon. Kickoff is slated for 1 p.m. at the Dakota Dome. We will be there, and we'll be back here to break it all down for you next Tuesday night on another episode of Coyote Corner.